Holy cow, we have got a lot to talk about following the second race of the NASCAR Cup Series season. The Daytona Road Course, the O'Reilly Auto Parts 253, 258, whatever they call it. I know it was sponsored by O'Reilly, and I know it was definitely a long race. So first off, let's start by talking about Christopher Bell. That man drove a great race at the end and at the right time. Made the pass on Joey Logano, coming to the white flag to take his first NASCAR Cup Series win. Second race in a row, we have seen a first-time winner. The last time we saw back-to-back first-time winners to kick off the season, 1950. Bell had to pass one of the better road course drivers of Joey Logano, who was on about 3 to 5 laps of worn tires to take the dub. You know, I thought Christopher Bell was in trouble once he had that tire rub in the final laps. But luckily, you know, him and new crew chief Adam Stevens were able to forget about it and take the win. But something that impressed me is that the 20 team fought back. If you remember before the end of stage 1, I think Bell was the only driver that did not pit on that last yellow. And I was thinking, why, man? You know, you're at a road course like Daytona, 4 tires is critical. You know, the team fell back numerous spots outside of the top 10 after the stage. Didn't even receive any stage points at all from that. Like I said, though, they learned, they fought back. They then beat Chase Elliott out of the pits during the final round of pit stops under the yellow flag, and were able to take the win.
This is the happiest moment I've had in a very long time. You know, 2020 was one of the hardest seasons I've ever had in my racing career. I don't think I won a race at the Chili Bowl on my prelim night, and then that was it for the rest of the year. So that's obviously up against the Cup guys and on the dirt side too. So 2020 was a really, really low point for me, and just to come back in 21 and be able to win in the Cup Series this early on a road course is, you know, something that I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life. And I just can't wait to see what we can do on the ovals and build on this.
Joey Logano, meanwhile, finishing in the runner-up spot, and this one is definitely a tough pill to swallow. The reason why both races this year, he has been able to contend for the win. At the 500, you know, we know what happened. Led at the white flag, then wrecked with Greg Keselowski in turn 3, and now the Daytona Road Course. Led the final handful of laps until about 2 laps to go, when Bell broke free of the worn tire traffic. You know, the start of the season for Logano reminds me of the 2015 Camping World Truck Series season. You know, Eric Jones, he had that phenomenal start of the season where he just couldn't win and it just couldn't execute in the end. Like, you know, the 2015 truck race at Charlotte, him and Casey Kane battling for the win there. He had a lot of tough pills to swallow there. So Logano probably feels what Eric Jones is feeling right now.
Yeah, I mean, any way you look at it, every race that we've run so far down here, we've been in contention to win. I said it to the guys before the race today, and, you know, once again, we were in contention to win. So we're doing the right things. Look at the duel. We almost won the Clash. We finished 3rd. You have Daytona 500, we're leading on the last lap and we crash. And then you come here and you're leading with 2 to go and get past. So we're there. I think we're doing a good job. When I think of the execution of this race team, we're doing all the right things. We just got to get a little bit faster. That's the biggest thing that I see right now. So not that we're far off, right? I mean, we're right there in the hunt. But I'd say we're outperforming the car at this moment. So we just got to get our car a little better.
Look, obviously, we know Joey Logano is going to win a race before the playoffs begin. The fact that he has shown this much speed and potential early on could make him an early contender for the championship 4. Yes, I know it's still February, the beginning of the NASCAR season, and we haven't even reached November yet, but I know there's a lot of time, but it's never too late to start thinking about, you know, who could championship 4 predictions be. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that being the flaws in NASCAR's first road course race of the year, because there were a lot that NASCAR can improve on before their next road course race at Circuit of the Americas this May. Number 1, the wet weather caution. What? Okay, let's be serious here. I've heard it before. in prior NASCAR races like Montreal in 2008, but this one here just did not make sense at all. So according to NASCAR's rules in section 10.6.5, talking about race halt caution period restart after one lap completion following a dry weather start. If NASCAR determines conditions are too wet to continue under dry equipment, NASCAR will throw the caution flag out, and officials will announce the reason for the caution period. And this can only happen once during an event, and all following caution periods will be according to section 10.5.8. Like I said, I know I've heard it before in NASCAR races like Montreal in 2008, but this one here just did not make sense. Number one, it was a pop-up shower in parts of the racetrack, and it was not raining that hard. Number two, as I predicted, the teams would be able to come in for slicks and not be forced to put on wets if they wanted. Number three, NASCAR only throws that wet weather caution once a race if they have to, which doesn't make sense because if there are dry to wet situations the rest of the way, the race would remain green. So, do you not see how many confusing things there are in this? It's just a rule that just does not make sense at all. So, how do we fix the flaw? Well, it's easy. Do not give the wet weather cautions. Put the situations, whether to go from dry to wets or wets to dry, put it in the team's hands and let them decide if they want to pit for wets or not under green, and depending on when. And it would be interesting to see what would happen in regards to track position, if it's gain or loss. Formula One and IndyCar do this all the time, and obviously the outcome of the race would be very different from the results. Now, I'm not saying I'm asking for a different outcome here. Rules are the rules, etc., etc. Plus, I'm a media member. I can't really play any biased situations here. You know what I mean. Next flaw. The full course yellows. Oh, yes. In NASCAR road racing, for those of you guys that watch Formula One only, the only cautions are full course cautions. They are not local yellows or slow zones. If a car is stopped anywhere on the track, it is a full course caution for the entire track, even if they're half the distance away. How many full course cautions did we have this entire weekend? We had 8 in Cup, 7 in Xfinity, 10 in Trucks, so about 25 yellows, and some of those yellows did not deserve a full course caution. I believe it's time for NASCAR to adopt local yellows for road courses only. What would happen in this situation? Well, I would see quarterman waving a yellow with red stripe, saying there's an incident in this area. In that area, drivers should slow down at a cautious pace, but once they clear that zone, then they can go full throttle. If safety crew has to tend to cars that are disabled, like for example, a fire, they're crashed, fluid on the track, you need a tow, etc. That could be for local situations, but if like a car is like stopped in like a runoff section of the track, like a grassy area, then just put quartermen out there and just have them try and manually push that car. But if like I said, if there's a fire, the crash, fluid on the track, need a tow, etc., that could be for a full course yellow. Whatever it is that Formula One does in regards to that situation, that should be the way NASCAR does it. Because holy cow, some of these races felt like they were nonstop with all the yellows. Like I know the truck race Friday night, I felt like I was watching the 24 hours of Daytona all over again. Finally, before we go to the results, I do want to talk about Chase Elliott. You have to feel bad for him. The best road course racer amongst the active roster right now, had the best car in Daytona, led 44 laps, just had a bad pit stop that just cost him the race, in my opinion. You know, he had 2 bad stops. I know the first one was amongst the right front tire. I forgot what the second one was, but I do know Christopher Bell beat Chase Elliott out of pit road, so it may have been a crew issue there in that situation. Sure, he was able to rebound from crazy moments like getting forced into the grass by Corey LaJoie after one of the horseshoes, barely clipping that sign as well, and getting a lot of grass stuck in his radiator. Then I think he pushed Corey into a tire barrier in the west horseshoe wall that possibly damaged the cooling box. I think Chase said on the radio it was unintentional, not too sure there. And then with 5 laps to go, that chain reaction fender-to-fender issue with Brad Keselowski slowing the out of the infield. And then Chase Elliott just gets rear-ended by Denny Hamlin, and that just, wow, that changed the complexity. But like I said, if it was not for the wet weather yellow, I believe Chase Elliott would have won this race. I would not put any blame on Denny Hamlin or Brad Keselowski, and whatever that happened, I know there's a bunch of Chase fans that like to put a lot of blame when their driver gets spun. It's just racing, and the rules are the rules in that situation. So your top 10 from that race, obviously Christopher Bell, his first ever NASCAR Cup Series win. Joey Logano comes home in second. Denny Hamlin third, Kurt Busch fourth, Brad Keselowski fifth, Kevin Harvick sixth. How about AJ Allmendinger, the road course ringer, coming home in seventh? Remember, he's doing some part-time races with Colleague Racing this year. And remember, the season premiere of RSN Trackside, that was my bold prediction that Allmendinger would win. Dang it, we came so close. So close. He takes seventh. Michael McDowell, coming off of last week's Daytona 500 win, another top 10. First time he's had back-to-back top 10s. Comes home in eighth. Also as well, rebounded after a lap one flat tire situation. Ryan Preece, a ninth place finish as an open car. Good for him. And then rounding out the top 10, that would be Alex Bowman. So just taking a look here at the playoff picture as we speak. Obviously, Michael McDowell and Christopher Bell would be in via wins. And then here's how the rest of the drivers would look. Hamlin would be third via points. Logano fourth. Harvick fifth. Elliott sixth. Ryan Preece seventh. Now keep in mind, if an open car does make the playoffs, it will be tough obviously for Ryan Preece. If an open car, though, does make the playoffs, they would be given a charter for the final 10 races of the season, or however long it takes them in the playoffs. Kurt Busch 8th, Austin Dillon 9th, Brad Keselowski 10th, Cole Custer 11th, Kyle Larson 12th, Bubba Wallace 13th, Martin Truex Jr. 14th, Corey LaJoie 15th. Yes, we're talking about a Spire car right now in the playoffs. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is the last car in by 3 points over Kyle Busch as we speak. Your first four out, like I said, Kyle Busch, Chris Buescher, Ryan Blaney, and Ross Chastain. So let's go to the good, bad, and the ugly here. My good has to be Christopher Bell gets his first career win. And when you think about it, this is a feel-good win as well. First off, obviously, for Christopher Bell, it was a rough 2020 for him last year, racing for Levine Family Racing. Got damage in a majority of the races, especially in races where he thought he had a fast car. For the manufacturer, for Toyota, they swept the weekend in trucks, Ben Rhodes, Xfinity, Ty Gibbs, and we'll get to him in a moment, and Cup, obviously, Christopher Bell. For Joe Gibbs Racing as a team overall, this is very special. Like I said, Bell winning. Ty Gibbs winning his Xfinity Series debut. Something I don't think anyone saw coming in their debut. That was very impressive. Good for Ty Gibbs on that. And at the same time, for Joe Gibbs Racing as well, Sunday was J.D. Gibbs' birthday. The late J.D. Gibbs, he would have been 52 as I'm recording this on Sunday night. So yeah, this is definitely really special. And Joe Gibbs, the coach, said post-race that I believe over 9 million viewers have visited jdgibbslegacy.org or .com. I forgot what it is, or JD Gibbs' tribute website. The bad, it's really tough to figure out a bad here, but I am going to go with Kyle Busch. Nothing against Kyle, nothing against Rowdy one bit. I know it sounds a little weird that I am going with him, considering he rebounded from what happened on, I believe it was lap 1 when he suffered that damage going through the grass. However, though, like drivers, say Brother Kurt or Brad Keselowski, he had an up and down day just like those two, going all over the leaderboard. And unlike Kurt or Keselowski, who finished up, Kyle finished down in 35th position. I don't know what happened in those final laps, if he had like steering issues when he was hitting Austin Dillon and stuff in those insane final laps that took him out of the running for a top 10. But I definitely expected a top 10 run for the man they call KFB. Now the ugly, I think you know where I'm going with this. The what with a caution. Not only it was unneeded, it changed the complexity of how this race was going to end, created an unwanted restart, it breeded a caution, and a bunch of wrecks that didn't lead to a caution as well. It just led to insanity and WWE-esque, pretty much. NASCAR is supposed to be in the sports and the entertainment business, and that yellow was just entertainment. It was not sports at all. At the officials' discretion. I think the only thing that were sports were the drivers racing it on the track, and especially the battle for the win between Bell and Logano in the final laps. So my rating out of 5 stars for this weekend, I'm going to go with a 3. It would have been a good rating, though. It would have been a 4 if that wet weather yellow didn't come out. I know this is going to sound weird. It probably would have been a 3.5 if we went green to the end with no wrecks after that restart. Or who knows, maybe even a 5, depending on how the racing turned out, as long as they were not spinning each other out, etc., etc. But it's going to be a 3, thanks to the ugly. I do like the Daytona Road Course, though, for NASCAR racing, especially that final chicane. I do think, though, it should still be a good backup in case of emergency. Obviously, last year, the race replaced Watkins Glen because of the pandemic here in New York State. This year replaced the Auto Club 400 in California due to the pandemic down in the I can't think of the nickname for California, but you know what I mean. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about the race. Let me know in the comments below. If you guys do enjoy the content, as always, make sure you leave a like, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. I'm Marty. I will see you guys in the next video, and until then, peace out.